Hi everyone, Jamie here. Welcome to Wrist Friendly Yoga. This is a 30-minute practice designed to open up the hips and shoulders without putting much pressure onto the wrist. Whether you're going through an injury or have sensitivities in general, please make sure you get this cleared with your medical professional before participating in this class. Throughout our class today, we will be using some props, absolutely not required, but maybe recommended if you would like to really maximize the most out of class today. Of those props, we'll be using some yoga blocks. Alternatives can be using some books. You could also use a yoga strap. An alternative would be using a clean long dish towel and a yoga blanket. And of course, you can use any blanket or some folded up bath towels. We'll also be using a wall. Now, if you're not nearby a wall, that's okay. You can use, I'm using a fence, but I won't be putting much pressure onto the fence. You can even use a chair. I'll also be showing demonstrations using a block for the alternatives today. So please work with what you've got and don't feel pressure on having to have any one thing to make this class work for you. When you're ready, please go ahead and find yourself onto your back. As we lie on our back to begin, we'll place our hands right on top of the belly. We'll pull the shoulders away from our ears and maybe even close the eyes. We'll begin by taking a few deep diaphragmatic breaths. As you breathe in through your nose, feel the belly rise into both hands. And as you exhale, notice the belly deflate. As the belly drops, you'll exhale. We'll try that a couple more times. Breathe in through your nose, fill up the lungs, fill up your belly, fill up even into your lower back. How much air can you take in? And as you exhale again, notice that change in your bottom hand. And we'll take this one more time. On this inhale, I invite you to set your intention for practice. This intention might be where you wish to spend your mental energy for the next half hour. It can be a simple word you wish to focus on. As you exhale, let it all out. Again, let the belly drop. From here, we'll slowly bring the hands and feet up towards the sky. As you extend, we're feeling a little bit of a lengthening happening underneath our legs. These are our hamstring muscles. You don't have to lock your legs. You can even have your knees bent. Let the muscles stretch, not the tendons, ligaments behind the knee. We'll extend the arms up to the sky, and we'll start with the ankle and wrist rotations outward. And again, if this feels like a little bit much on your wrist already, please forego this portion of practice and follow along with the ankles. Oftentimes with wrist sensitivity, it has to do with not being used to a given range of motion. So when we do apply pressure, it's not quite comfortable. Let's go ahead and move into the other direction. So again, I mentioned before, as we go out throughout our postures, if a given motion or pose feels off, skip it and still do the rest of the posture. On this next breath, we're going to push our heels and our palms up towards the sky. So here, we're going to allow that stretch into the calves, but also into the forearms. We'll slowly point the toes and around the wrist. As we begin to flex the wrist, notice that stretch on top of the forearms. And again, minimizing the range of motion if need be. Let's do that once more. We'll go ahead and pull the toes back and the fingertips back. And then we'll go ahead and point the toes and around the wrist. From here, we'll go ahead and take both knees into the chest, and we'll go into a circular clockwise motion. On this next breath, we'll go ahead and move the knees into a counterclockwise motion. And from here, we'll begin to slowly rock ourselves forward and back. Now, as we rock ourselves forward and back, if you identify with having a sensitive lower back, you might skip this portion. Otherwise, on this next round, you'll work your way up into a seated position, and I'll face forward for this next part of class. As you are seated facing forward, you might be sitting cross-legged if that's comfortable for you. If your lower back feels even a little bit off sitting upright like I'm demonstrating, you can use a block or your books to sit on top of. That'll help really put your back into a different placement. I'll call that more of a neutral spine. So again, if you are choosing to use a block, you might notice a little bit more length in your spine. So from here, we'll slowly keep our hands right at our sides. As we inhale, we'll pull our torso forward and lift the chin up towards the sky. So we're doing a deep arch, a deep hyperextension of the spine here. As we exhale, we'll drop the head and round the back. I'm using my hands to grab onto my legs to feel the back of my spine lengthen. Let's do that again. Lengthen, chin up. If you notice this feels heavy on your neck, there's no need to look up. Exhale, head down, and we round. And we'll slowly come on back to center. For this next portion, I will mirror you so you can get a clearer visual. Go ahead and take your right ear to your right shoulder. Extend your left arm off to the side. What we'll notice here is a little bit of lengthening and stretching into the bicep and hopefully even into the neck. What you can do is with your head, turn away from your hand. And with your left thumb, you may even turn it downward. As we feel that pronation, we allow the shoulder to stretch as well. So sometimes when we are doing postures that don't use a lot of the wrist, we miss out on a lot of good shoulder stretching, and I don't want that to happen today. So we will be spending some time going into those shoulders and really feeling a little bit of relief, I hope. Let's come on back to center and let's switch to the other side. Your left ear to your left shoulder, extend through your right arm. And to get a deeper stretch, you might turn your head away or maybe even move your hand back. So again, no need to force what doesn't flow, just find that nice stretch. With that thumb, you might rotate inward and feel a little bit more of a stretch. And let's slowly work our way towards center and release. If you were sitting on a block or book, you can go ahead and slide your way off. So from seated position, I want to be mindful of those of you who have extremely sensitive wrists. So if that's the case, you are welcome to skip just this next posture, or you can attempt slowly. What I'd like to do is take this into tabletop. I'll have my fingertips spread apart and have my hands right below my shoulders. As I work my way into tabletop, I'd like it so that the shoulders are directly above the wrist. The hips are directly above the knees. Now, if this feels like already way too much, then please skip this pose. If you notice just this particular hand position feels off, you may try the fist option, but be mindful that this will be a little bit less stable. However, it may feel better on your wrist. So please choose accordingly, or of course, just skip this pose. We'll take this into one more round of cat camel like we did while we were seated. You'll inhale, belly down, chin up towards the sky. On exhale, head down and round. And we'll do it again. Belly down, chin up towards the sky. Exhale, we'll round. And from here, we'll come on into that tabletop again. Spread the knees wider than the hips, and we'll bring our hips back towards our heels. Extend those arms forward. And as we're extending our arms forward, we really want to maximize on lengthening the shoulders and lengthening the biceps, letting your forehead touch the mat. Now, as you stay here in your extended child's pose, if you're looking for a deeper stretch, this is where props may come into play. You'll have the props right below your palms, and this will allow you to really sit your hips back a bit deeper. You may notice a longer stretch into your arms, again, not required. From here, from your child's pose, we'll slowly walk both arms off to our left side, feeling that stretch along the right side of our body. And we'll slowly walk the arms off to the right side, noticing that left side of our lower back and even the shoulders open up. we'll slowly work our way back to center. So in this next portion of practice, I want to go over downward facing dog or not. So a couple ways we can do this is if you are absolutely avoiding any kind of wrist hyperextension today, then you'll be following me. We'll start off elbows below shoulders, and I'll step my feet back into a traditional plank position. I'll start off with my hips in line with my shoulders, and I'll even keep my elbows right where they are and the entire forearms flat. So notice I'm not lifting my hands, my forearms are flat. You can bring the hips up to the sky, also known as dolphin pose, into this modified downward facing dog. So for friends who are avoiding any kind of wrist pressure, you might be here. Stay here if this is where you wish to hold. You'll feel the stretch behind the hamstrings, behind the calves. Other friends who are looking to do downward facing dog, but perhaps can handle a little bit more load into the wrist, here we go. From your child's pose, that's where you are. From your child's pose, you'll use your yoga blocks. Now, these blocks are made of cork, so they are a bit more sturdy. If you're using foam blocks, please make sure they're on the lowest setting because we are looking for a stable surface. So whatever your blocks allow, please make sure that it can support. And from here, we'll work our way into a downward facing dog. This is going to be more pressure on the wrist. So again, please be mindful of what pressure your wrists do allow. Again, a deep stretch in the shoulders, the hamstrings, and the calves. All right, that is your second option. The third option today is friends who are looking to, again, feel that deep stretch. We'll take this to a chair or a wall. I don't have a chair with me today, but I'll be able to demonstrate this with the wall. As I use the fence, what I'll do is work my way up to my feet, and I'll have my hands right on my wall. And I'll use this placement as if I were doing plank to begin with. Hands below shoulders. From hands below shoulders, I drive my hips back, head through the shoulders to still get that thoracic extension. That's the middle of the back. You might notice that you can straighten your legs a bit more to get that deep stretch in the posterior chain. Try that out. So wherever you are today, friends, whether you are on your forearms, on the blocks, or on the wall, take your desired downward facing dog for the next few breaths, and I will meet you into the next posture. For friends who are in any kind of downward facing dog, I'll demo this from the dolphin pose. We'll begin to work our way back down all together onto the floor. And we'll take the rest of our practice, for the next portion anyway, onto our feet. Get up any way that feels comfortable for you. Maybe it's one leg at a time. Maybe you're rolling onto your side and coming back up. I will meet you in standing mountain pose. So friends, as we begin into standing mountain pose, you'll bring your feet together. If your body allows, arms at your sides, shoulders away from the ears. On this inhale, we'll bring our arms up overhead. On this exhale, we'll swim the arms around into a standing forward fold. On this inhale, you'll lift halfway using the core strength, keeping the shoulders aligned with the hips. On this exhale, we're slowly back into a forward fold. And from here, I will mirror you. So we'll be doing the opposite so that you can see me clearly. Go ahead and take your right leg and step back slowly into a low lunge. With your left foot forward, your right knee back, we begin low lunge. Now, we'll go slowly here. If your knee does not feel comfortable on the mat, this is where a yoga blanket might come in handy, or a towel, or anything of that nature. So what we feel here is some hip flexor action. We feel that nice deep lunge of the hips forward. Hands can be right on top of the front thigh. Now if you're ready for a bit more, you might bring your arms up overhead, or even hands cradling the head. We're here for a big inhale. And on exhale, we'll slowly have the hands down, right on the floor. So again, no pressure on the hands today. We'll take that back right leg and slowly work our way into a standing forward fold. As we inhale, we'll roll our way up, one joint at a time. And exhale, I'll meet you back into your standing mountain pose. We'll do that again to the other side. Inhale, arms up, overhead. Exhale, let's swan dive into that forward fold. On inhale, halfway lift, core strong, shoulders and hips aligned. Exhale, folding forward, slipping your left leg back into that low lunge. And of course, if low lunge with the blanket or not just does not feel right on that back knee, you can do a nice little high lunge. You don't have to apply pressure onto the joint at any point in time. So again, hand placement might be on that front thigh, adjacent to the ears, or cradling the head as we feel that hip flexor stretch. And some of the stretches today, I admit, might feel a little better than others. So if you wish to stay here longer, don't let me stop you from a good time. Let's begin to bring those hands right below the shoulders. No pressure again on those wrists. Slowly slipping your left leg back to meet your right into that forward fold. We'll roll up one joint at a time, coming into a standing mountain pose. On this next breath, again, feet together, if your body allows, we go into chair pose. On inhale, it's hips back, arms up. This is chair pose. Letting your thighs adduct, that means squeeze together, feeling the hips drive back and feeling the arms again right next to the ears. If it feels like it's way too much strain on your neck to bring your arms next to your ears, do what you can. On this inhale, we're reaching through our fingertips. On this exhale, bring those arms back, arms shooting back. This is internal rotation for the shoulders. If it feels good, you might even go further back. Let's do that again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms back. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, arms up. On this exhale, it's forward fold. On inhale, halfway lift. On this exhale, take your right leg, this time into a high crescent lunge. So unlike our first low lunge, we're going to lift that back knee. From here, we're in this high crescent lunge, arms are lifted, right hip flexor stretching. We'll slowly step hands to heart center. Step your right leg into tree pose. Now in tree pose, I'll face you so you can see what we're going with this. You might have the toes down into the calf or into your inner thigh, but please do avoid pushing on the knee. In your desired tree pose, begin to grow those branches. As we reach up towards the sky, you might even close your eyes to really challenge that kinesthetic awareness in your body. If your eyes are closed, open those eyes. And we'll take the hands back to heart center. Let's take that right ankle above your left knee into a standing pigeon. Again, we're looking to open the hips today. As you feel this in the outer right hip, you might choose to stay, or you might go into that partial chair pose like we did just a few postures ago. Or you may even bring your hands down to gently support. This is where blocks would be a great prop. So that again, a safe exit strategy, if you choose to take one, is that it's not going to put pressure on those wrists. That's the theme for today. From your standing pigeon, we'll roll the way up. Hands can stay at heart center. Push your right heel back into warrior three. Again, hands close to your body, right at your sides or next to your ears. You choose. From warrior three, we slowly take that back heel down, toes off to the corner, into warrior one. From your warrior one position, again, heels are pushing down. You'll feel this into the calves. We'll slowly bring the arms behind our back. Floating the wrists is great. Maybe fist to fist, perhaps palm to palm. And we'll roll our way down into humble warrior. From humble warrior, we'll slowly bring our arms up into warrior one. Turn your body off towards the right side. This is warrior two. I did move my feet apart. So in warrior two, we are a bit wider. Feet are perpendicular to each other. And that way we'll really feel the hips open in a different way. Inhale, reach that left arm forward. Exhale, reverse back. And let's slowly work our way into extended side angle. Left forearm to left thigh, right arm right next to the ear. On this next breath, we'll slowly work our way again. Inhale. And we'll exhale. Finding your way back into your warrior two, and we'll slowly straighten that front left leg and windmill the hands down. Again, no pressure on the wrist. We'll turn the toes off to the left corner, letting the knees follow. This is a lateral lunge in Skandasana. What you want to feel here is that inner right thigh opening. This might be a shallow lunge. You might choose to go a little bit deeper. Again, do what feels best for you. We will switch to the other side. As we're on the other side, we'll slowly turn ourselves all the way to the opposite side of the mat. So here we are back in that high crescent lunge. In high crescent lunge, you feel that deep hip flexor stretch. Our arms are reaching towards the sky. We'll take our hands to heart center and step that left foot into tree pose. Maybe you're here, toes to the floor, into the calves, or into the inner thigh. Begin to grow those branches. Close those eyes if you wish. And open your eyes if they were closed. Hands back to heart center. Let's place that left ankle above the right knee and either hold for that outer hip stretch. You might bend a bit or reach down towards the earth. Again, no pressure on the wrist, using the blocks or the fingertips to graze. We'll begin to slowly roll our way up. And take your left heel back into warrior three. On this next breath, arms at your sides, right next to your ears, you choose. And we'll slowly bring that left heel down into warrior one. I'm going to avoid my blanket there. From your warrior one position, arms are up next to your ears, heel down, and we'll slowly bring the arms behind the back to any capacity. Fist to fist or palm to palm, and humble warrior it is. On this next breath, back to warrior one. Turn your body off towards the left side. We are in warrior two. Let's inhale, reach that right arm forward. Exhale, reverse back. As you inhale, stay in that deep lunge. We'll find it again into extended side angle. Feeling that long stretch from the side of your foot into your fingertips. Let's do it one more of each. Inhale, reaching back. On exhale, extended side angle. Working your way back into warrior two, straighten that front leg. As we windmill the hands down, no pressure on the wrist, toes off to the corner, into that side lunge, lateral lunge. Begin to work your way slowly onto the other side. And we'll turn our body, I'll move my blanket, towards the front of the mat. On this next breath, take your back leg. We'll step it in so that your feet are together and roll your way into a forward fold. Roll your way up one joint at a time. And I invite you to come into seated any way you wish to get there. In this seated position, what we'll begin to do is work our way into a twist. Now, as we allow our legs to come forward, what I invite you to do is notice, how does this feel in your back? Do you wish to use that block again to place under your sit bones? We'll do this together, so I will not mirror you. You'll take your right knee into your chest. If twisting is not part of your practice today, you can simply stay here and really turn your head over your right shoulder. That way your spine or your mid-spine does not have to twist. If you are ready for a bit more, right foot over the left thigh, right hand behind your body. Take your left arm and reach towards the sky as you hook the left elbow outside of the right thigh and look over the right shoulder. On this next breath, we'll turn our torso to the other side to counter twist. And we'll slowly work our way back to center and release. Next, we'll take that left knee into chest, again choosing your no twist option, or to bring your left foot over the right thigh, left hand down, right arm reached as we hook the elbow outside of the thigh and grazing over that left shoulder, feeling that into the neck as well. As we keep our legs where they are, we'll turn our torso to the other side. And come on back to center. Let's release those legs. And before we work our way down onto our mat, lying down, go ahead and grab your straps. If you don't have a strap, perhaps a towel. And if you have no props right now, I'd like you to do this without any props so you can get a feel for what's happening. What I'd like you to do is take your hands and you can go way wider than outside of your hip. So the reference point here is really what feels good. Can you get a little bit of tension into that strap? Now what we want to feel here is opening into the shoulders and biceps. Again, no pressure in the wrist. We'll bring the strap overhead. I might choose to hold right here. If you feel that where you're putting the strap behind your head, you're not feeling much, you can go ahead and reset and bring your hands a little closer together. A little goes a long way, so I only bring it in one hand. Again, just feeling that stretch. This should feel similar to what we did when our hands were on the wall, on the chair, even on the yoga blocks, but our arms are wider. We might get a different stretch here. And we'll go ahead and slowly work our way down. So again, friends, without props today, that's okay. Just mark the spot with your arms. We'll take this next to lying on our back. Keep the strap nearby, but again, if no strap, you can use your hands. As I turn myself back onto my mat, I'm going to lie on down, and I'll take my left leg up towards the sky. Friends, with no strap, you'll have your hands interlocking right behind the hamstring and hold. But if you do have a strap available, you'll place it underneath your foot. And that way, you might be able to feel more comfortable adding a little tension through your hands so that you can get that stretch. We are here for a big breath. And as you exhale, you can go ahead and release the strap and switch to the other side. Perhaps you're choosing to use your hands underneath your leg. Notice that the knee bend is a-okay. If you are ready for a little bit more, or I could even argue a little bit less by using a strap, you do have more control. It acts as if your arm has extended, so you don't have to reach so much. Feel that hamstring stretch, the muscle behind your legs. We are here for another big breath. And let's go ahead and release the strap and bring your legs onto your mat. Please find your way into Shavasana. Arms are at your sides, shoulders away from your ears. Eyes can close if you're comfortable with that. And just be. Let go of that deep breathing and melt onto your mat. Shavasana is where we replenish. I invite you to spend as much time as you would like here at rest. When you're ready, bring the attention back towards your breath. Wiggle your toes and your fingertips. Bring both arms overhead. And you might turn your body off to the side. Gently press yourself away from the earth and come into a seated facing forward. With your hands at your heart center, the light in me honors the light inside each and every one of you. Namaste. And thank you all for joining today. I hope to see you next time. Bye.